Welcome to Meet the Experts, the show that introduces you to today's best and brightest thought leaders sharing information to accelerate your success in business and life. Let's get today's show started.
Welcome to Meet the Experts. This is the show that introduces you to thought leaders that can impact your brand, your business, and your bank account. I'm Joan Bowling, your host for today's show. Over 220 million flat tires are reported in the United States annually, and about 78,000 crashes are caused by tire-related issues. Tire blowouts in particular cause approximately 11,000 crashes and over 400 fatalities every year. AAA data also confirms that flat tires are among the most frequent roadside assistance calls, with 1 in 5 drivers experiencing a flat tire annually. My guest today is on a mission to make roads safer for consumers and significantly reduce the maintenance and transportation costs of the automotive fleet industry worldwide. Joining me today is Timothy Brock, CEO of Permaseal Global, a company that provides the world's only eco-friendly solution that makes getting a flat tire a thing of the past. Timothy, welcome to Meet the Experts. We're so glad that you're here.
Well, Jay, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, you are so welcome. So let's get that brief introduction to Permaseal. What is it and how does it work?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. We are the world's first and only truly eco-friendly tire sealant in the marketplace that guarantees against half-inch punctures in the middle tread, the crown of the tire, sidewalls, and against blowouts. And what all that simply means is if one of our customers can find a way to get a flat, we have a warranty that pays up to $2,500 in aggregate over that 3-year period to pay the cost to repair or replace said injury. But for the most part, 97% of the time, we're going to eliminate that situation from even happening to begin with.
So share the secret. How does it work?
That's the billion-dollar question. Our chemical engineer won't even tell me all of the nanoparticles that we use that are in it. But in short, it is nanotechnology, which simply means something bonds at the molecular level. So our product does that. It bonds at the molecular level with the inner liner of the rubber, thus sealing the natural pores of the rubber. There's about 62 different nanoparticles that he's mixed together and blended in a manner in which, number one, they act like white blood cells in the human body. So when there's a puncture, it's going to rush to the injury and seal it. There's also a rust inhibitor, so the nails won't rust and things of that nature.
Very good. So it not only protects, but it extends the life of the tire as well. Now, does it?
It does. It's going to extend the tread life by helping the tire to run cooler, but mainly by maintaining the proper tire pressure. So there's a dual benefit there. So in maintaining the proper tire pressure, the driver can pick up 3 to 5% increase in fuel economy. But most importantly, by maintaining the proper tire pressure, you eliminate the idea and the opportunity for blowouts to happen. Blowouts happen from underinflated tires. And when their tires are underinflated, they heat up and that's when they explode.
You bring up a great point because this summer in particular has been crazy hot. And I know a lot of us, myself included, because of lower tire pressure, have stopped to put in a little bit more air in those tires. And so what you're saying is, again, when a tire is a little bit lower and the environment is impacting it, then that's an opportunity for a problem to occur with the tire. Am I right on that?
100%. 100%. Yeah, with fluctuating temperatures, tires in the absence of Permaseal, they're going to go up and down in pressure. And to a certain extent, that can still happen. But when we eliminate the natural pores that are in all rubber, what's going to happen is, say you inflate your tire to 40 pounds. Well, as you're driving, it might increase to 45 pounds. But when it settles back down, it's coming back down to the 40. Versus in the absence of Permaseal, same tire inflated to 40 pounds, it's going to drop to 35, 32, what have you. And you don't know how long it's going to sustain that level, or if it's going to go back up to 40. So you still have some fluctuation, but it's going to go from where you started and higher back down to where you started versus the opposite.
So we've got a benchmark with Permaseal, which makes it fantastic. Now, you know, a lot of people get a little nervous when you talk about putting anything into a tire. Can you share why or how installing the Permaseal actually provides drivers with that peace of mind? Talk about the process, which is very reliable, comforting, and it works.
Sure. Yeah. Everybody, when they consider the option of Permaseal, they really should rest easier because, in short, we keep people from being on the side of the road. But it's the engineering. So again, it's the fact that we eliminate the natural pores, we eliminate the natural seepage, we eliminate the need to constantly air up your tires because we're eliminating the area that the air can escape. But, I think my wife, my daughter, I don't want either one of them to be stranded on the side of the road. So it's not just a matter of convenience. It's really a matter of safety. And your opening, you spoke about AAA, 2 million calls a year just for flat tires. Now, when you consider a female being on the side of the road and waiting for whomever to come from wherever, number one, you have swaying trucks, you have swaying drivers. That's a problem. And then you don't know who's showing up. I mean, you just don't know in today's day and age. And the average call time is anywhere from 2.5 to 5 hours.
Well, you bring up a point. You don't know, Timothy, when they're going to show up if you've called. I mean, eventually they will, but it's a lot of inactive time worrying about that process. Now, I will tell you, when I first learned how to drive, my dad, and I'm the only daughter in a family of brothers, he said, okay, Joan, you're going to learn how to change a tire. Timothy, I swear to you, that is the only time that I think I've ever touched a tire. And so I think to have Permaseal then would give me and my family that peace of mind to know that I can be proactive, as you mentioned, in a situation where it can be a little bit challenging or just road weary or just the normal wear and tear of your car. So I think that is just a key thing, is that peace of mind. So
You're exactly right. So 38% of the cars nowadays don't even come with a spare tire. So whether you have that skill set or not, 38% of the people don't even have the option. So you're right. So we're filling a void there. And then the safety aspect of it is, it's priceless.
It's just key. It's absolutely priceless. So it does sound like a must-have for consumers. Where is Permaseal currently being sold? Where can we find it?
Good question. So my background has been in automotive over the last 15 years. And what we're doing is we're partnering with the local dealerships in people's towns across the country and utilizing our automotive dealer network to distribute the product. Auto dealers are some of the best salespeople in the land. Plus, when you buy a purchase, that's the second biggest financial move for most people behind a house. So, your trusted auto dealer giving you a product that brings safety into your home, we just felt like that was the best place to at least start with it. And that way we can control it, we can scale it, we can monitor. It's hard to be excellent if you're everywhere, but with the trusted dealer network, they've proven quite successful at being able to distribute products like these.
So start the conversation then with your dealer when you're in for regular maintenance, or particularly in a conversation with a new vehicle, to talk about this. And I'm sure the dealers will, again, share the information on that as well.
Absolutely. Every patron out there watching this should ask their local dealer if they have Permaseal.
I think that sounds fantastic. So, we're but one car, or we have a couple cars in our family, but you see fleets going north, south, east, west, all across this beautiful country. And Permaseal has to be able to help those fleets as well. Is that available for that commercial lines as well?
100%. And so we really get into the engineering on the commercial side of the business. So, their biggest expense outside of labor, which we can't do anything about, is both fuel and tires. And so we really help out in both of those categories because, again, going back to maintaining proper tire pressure. So in a fleet of commercial trucks, picking up 5% increase in fuel economy is huge. In fact, the savings far outweighs the cost of putting the product into the tires. But that's just the first level. So then when you move on to that load being stuck on the side of the road, right? Number one, time is money. They're still paying the driver. and they still have to pay penalties for the delays in some cases. But then when you factor in the fact that you have to get a company to come out and help that truck that's stuck on the side of the road during prime time, 8 to 5, that's $1,500 on a light day. But you get outside of the normal business hours and you get outside the major metroplex, I've heard costs soar as high as $12,000 per occasion. So when you factor in increase in fuel economy, product and loads not being stuck on the side of the road, not having to have the wrecker come out and the roadside service, I mean, those are all three huge buckets of savings all wrapped around one product.
Absolutely. So you mentioned before when we first started off that there is an industry-leading warranty, and that's a standout feature of Permaseal. Go into that again. Share a little bit more information about that.
Absolutely. So on the consumer product, passenger product, we have a warranty. It's 3 years, unlimited miles, all the way down to legal tread depth. And we guarantee up to a half-inch puncture in the middle tread, the crown of the tire, sidewalls, and against blowouts. Now, most consumers are used to a normal tire and wheel policy, and that's only going to give them coverage up to a 1/4 inch, and it's only going to cover that middle tread area. Well, you know, most of the punctures are going to happen outside the middle tread, number one. That's why there's limits to those liabilities. It's never, the standard tire and wheel is never going to cover a sidewall and never going to cover a blowout. So that's why we actually insure the entire tire. Now, on the commercial side of it, the limits to the liability choke down to 12 months. It's only 1 year of coverage, but the coverage is $6,000. They have to, in that 12-month period to pay the cost to repair or replace that tire. Same half-inch, middle tread, crown, and side. So the value there, again, the savings far outweigh the cost for them, both long-term in fuel and tire savings.
I see so many applications for Permaseal. We talked about fleets, but I was visiting family up north, and so I had a friend who was renting a car. And she had a car, it was picking me up, and she said, I got to return it. I said, why? She said, low tire pressure. And she said, and I had a blowout on the side of a road, and I'm not going to relive that. So that was a very interesting comment. And again, she went back to the company that she leased it from, and there was a similar situation with the car. And she said, I'll stay here for a while until we can resolve this issue.
Figure it out.
Because it's a peace of mind issue. It's a comfort issue, and it's a security issue. So I can see how Permaseal just would bring tremendous value in so many different arenas, just as you mentioned, not only for individual consumers, but for fleets and the savings and the security factor. It has very many benefits, and what a fantastic product. So
for sure.
In closing, any other comments that you want to toss out about Permaseal?
Sure. I'm glad you brought that up as far as the rental car. So we're putting together proposals for some of the biggest rental car companies in the country.
Good.
Because, again, in addition to providing that safety factor for all of their customers, there's a revenue portion to that, but more importantly, in the category of cost savings, I mean, it's one proposal we put together for not even the biggest fleet will save them $52 million because they're going to get increased tread life out of those tires. They're going to, instead of buying 3 sets of tires through the life of that vehicle, it'll cut them back to 1.5, maybe 2. In addition, what people don't realize is that call that your friend or experienced, that cost the rental car company money for the roadside to come out.
Right.
So if we're eliminating 90% of the tire-related out calls for road hazard, I mean, you're talking at $150 to $200 per trip charged back to the company. The cost savings is in the millions.
Well, I'm also going to comment that word of mouth works very well too. If someone's pleased with that rental car company, they're going to tell everyone, and they're also going to have the stats that support their cars are more reliable and on the road more than maybe some of their competition. And that has to be not only a savings, but a great marketing tool for them as well, don't you think?
For sure. We call that the why buy from me. That's definitely a why buy for me for any rental car company that's utilizing Permaseal to protect their current customers and keep them from being stranded on the side of the road.
Perfect. Timothy, thank you so much for sharing with us and our viewers why Permaseal can provide drivers and fleets with greater peace of mind. Thank you so very much.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joan. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. For more information on Permaseal, please visit them at permasealglobal.us. That's online. This has been another episode of Meet the Experts, the show that introduces you to thought leaders that can impact your brand, business, and your bank account. I'm Joan Bowling, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Meet the Experts, an exclusive interview series produced by Thought Leadership Studios.